Welcome everyone, my name is Daring Dill and I am on my journey to master Cuphead. I will be doing this by beating the game 9 separate times using each weapon. And in today's episode, I will be using Lobber. This is all on expert mode with only the weapon being equipped. The DLC will be a separate episode due to all the editing going on in these videos. In case you're unfamiliar, the Lobber is a weapon that revolves around the idea of gravity. One shot, it will arc forward and bounce on the ground 3 times until it pops. The low range and fire rate makes it difficult to hit far away enemies, but the high DPS and above average damage makes it a great option for many bosses. Now that we're all on the same page, let's start the challenge.
Element of surprise!
After the horrible experience that was Spreadshot, I was ready for a breath of fresh air with Lobber. The root pack does a great job at being a practice dummy for our new weapon. All 3 phases have basic projectiles that are easy to avoid, which gave me the time to experiment with the weapons. Getting used to the laws of gravity was essential, because the bosses are only going to get harder from here. Oh, and of course I beat it on the first try.
Draw on your last breath! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! First one done!
The second boss for the challenge was Ribbit and Crooks, and the main obstacle in our way was the fireflies in the first phase. I learned very quickly that minions can take advantage of our low fire rate and overwhelm us. Luckily for me, this was only the first phase, so all I had to do was spam my EX against the 2 toads to get out of that wretched phase, and everything else was smooth sailing from there.
This is over!
Up next is Goopy Le Grande, another stupid ball I must deal with. Goopy was annoying at first because he would bounce away before my shots could connect. Even so, Goopy was by no means prepared for this fight, as I had a secret up my sleeve. Goopy is bound to the laws of gravity, and because of me using Lobber, I've been intensely studying under Sir Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton's law of universal gravitation states that every point mass attracts every other point mass in the universe with a force that is directly proportional. Basically, I just wait for him to land on the ground and then spam my EX, which does more than enough damage to win the fight. I went a bit of a tangent there. The final boss for Inkwell Isle I is Cagney Carnation. Similar to Ribbit and Crooks, I learned that the minions were going to be the biggest hurdle in this challenge, and Cagney's minions were no exception. I was once again overwhelmed by the minions and died as a result. I was not worried, as I eventually found many openings to deal massive DPS against the flower, and securing myself the win.
This is Raps, coach. This is Raps!
On to Inkwell Isle II, we have Baroness BonBon. Since she's a princess, I decided to put on my best hat and fight her like a true gentleman would.
Let's get a little dapper.
During this fight, me and my chat discovered a trapping mechanic where I could fire bullets right next to the castle. Instead of firing them normally, I would fire them upwards to keep the bullets from despawning. This resulted in massive damage as the mini-bosses would collide into a barrage of blue balls. After taking some stupid hits, I was able to lock in and crack down on this crazy candy-themed wannabe queen.
Ah! Get out of here! Okay. Out of here! Ugly lady! Ugly, I don't wanna talk to you! I don't wanna see you ever again! Get out of my face! Ugh.
Beppi the Clown. I don't mean to cut our conversation short, but due to my studies in gravity, I knew just how to beat you. I could see how the balloon animals could overwhelm me, and how my lack of range could make it difficult to hit you. But it ultimately didn't matter, as the DPS tore through your HP, giving me a victory on the first try.
Okay. And that's how we do it. First try? First try.
Newton's third law of motion states that for every action, there is an equal but opposite reaction. And to dumb it down for the dragon here, for every stupid thing you do, there is an equally stupid reaction waiting for you. If I remember correctly, you killed us many times when we were using Spreadshot. Now that was pretty stupid. Now that I have a weapon that you're weak against, I am going to be stupid and take my time, delaying the timer just to see you suffer. In the end, this fight was elementary.
Let's go!
Up next is good old Rumor Honeybottoms. In my opinion, Lobber is the best weapon for this fight. When playing on platform-based levels, the Lobber can gain extra range by standing on the highest platforms in the level. When the Lobber weapon gets this much range, it surpasses all other range-focused weapons because of the massive damage it can deal as well. It almost seems unfair how quickly I was able to beat this fight. Almost.
Those give me. Oh, you jerk! Who hit me? What'd you get, Queen Bee?
Up next is Captain Brinybeard. Unlike the previous bosses, using Lobber was not ideal in the slightest. I was severely restricted to where I could hit him, as his hitbox was only on the top right of the screen. Even so, I came up with a plan. This plan was to completely rely on my EXs to carry me through this fight. The captain frequently fires pink pellets, and a good portion of them are parryable, which in turn allowed me more opportunities to deal massive damage with my EX. It took a bit of patience, and a bit of practice to pull it off, and once I did, I wasn't recording.
Oh, how lovely. Isn't that awesome? I didn't have it recording.
Even so, I kept at it and beat it again. For real this time.
Yes! Oh, 3 HP! Didn't even need to take a hit.
Up next is the rodent known as Vermin. Just like most rodents, this rat was no harm to us at all. It's not like this boss fight was easy, but the DPS for my weapon shredded right through his HP. It honestly didn't matter what he did. The fight was pretty much over, so let's just skip to the next boss, shall we? Now, Sally's Stageplay was a completely different story. What made her challenging were the projectiles on the second phase. The baby that was dropping bottles and the rat toys proved to be overwhelming for me. My solution? Simply spam my EX on the second phase to get past it as quickly as possible. It turned out to be a great idea, as I made it through the rest of the level and beat the boss.
Goodbye!
And now we got somehow the hardest boss of the challenge. Not King Dice, not the Devil, it was the Phantom Express. Even though Grim Matchstick vs Spreadshot was my hardest fight, this would take second place because of how long I was stuck on the first phase. To put it simply, I could not keep up with the eyeballs that were fired on the first phase. My low fire rate made it so after I cleared a wave of eyeballs, the ghost was already making 10 more, giving me no time to deal damage. This phase required so much focus as every shot counted. I relied on the weapon and its EX to block every shot I couldn't avoid, and to find any openings to deal damage. It took a long time, but I eventually broke through the train's defense and took it down.
Yes! Yes! Ah!
2 more to go. For King Dice, I ended up focusing on fighting 3 mini-bosses, the 8-ball, the domino, and surprisingly, the 3 alcoholic drinks. The reason why the 3 drinks are surprising is because the drink in the far back seems impossible to hit. Don't underestimate me though, my dear viewer, because I have been studying all forms of gravity, and I learned if I gain a running start and fire at this angle here, I can connect my attack. There was probably a better boss I could have fought, but in the end, it didn't matter, as I had more than enough HP remaining to finish the other bosses and to take down King Dice.
Get off of my screen. It's been fun. It's been real. You seem like a devious guy, but charming. I don't care how much HP I lose. Goodbye.
The final hurdle of this challenge is the devil himself. The devil may consider himself the king of the underworld, but even kings have to obey the law. And today, the devil shall learn the law of gravity. By applying all the knowledge I've learned both in and out of combat, I showed the devil power he's never seen. The power of knowledge.
Daring Duck doesn't give up, even when his back is against the wall. Daring Duck will always win. Let's go, baby! Challenge done. Hold on. I'm gonna mute the microphone real quick.